Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Ask the Experts. I am your host for today, Candy Martin, and we are going to get started in about 30 seconds. We're going to give a few folks a chance to log in, and this meeting is being recorded. I like to always make that announcement. So at this time, if you don't want to be recorded and it's also being streamed on YouTube. So we are live on YouTube. So you have a chance to let your friends, coworkers, family members know that they can join us live there. And as always, the replay is available at aklegacyfoundation.org. So we are going to get started in about 20 seconds now. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Ask the Experts. It is so good to see you guys again, once again on this Wednesday. Today we are having coffee and conversation with Miss Natasha Ferguson out of Georgia. So, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. It is a chilly morning, but I'm doing well. I'm doing well. And what
Yes,
about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, chilly it is. I actually had a chance to do my walk this morning, and anybody knows me, I don't like to be cold. So my friend girl that I walk with, I whine the whole time, and she loves the chilly weather, and so it's just, we just got that. I got that love hate with the weather. You want it to be kind of cool so that you don't be too hot and muggy, but then at the same time, I'm like it's cold out here.
Absolutely. This is
I
my
have,
favorite time of the weather of the year because I love hot chocolate. So any excuse to drink hot chocolate. Yeah. Yeah.
so
So
do y'all have your coffee, your tea?
I got my hot chocolate.
Okay, well, I have tea. So I know it's coffee and conversation. And in all honesty, neither one of us.
I would drink coffee.
I'll drink it, but my go-to is definitely gonna be it's definitely gonna be the tea, the hot tea. I love the hot tea. I don't know if it's a thing with making sure that your voice is all clear before you come on the air. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So let me tell our guests a little bit about why we're here. We are having coffee and conversations with Miss Natasha. She is a career coach. I'm going to let her give us her formal titles and all that she does, because I know she does a lot. And so she wears many hats. And sometimes when you wear many hats, we have a tendency to just give you a name. So I'm going to let her clear the air and explain to us exactly what it is that she do. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to get into our conversation. So Miss Natasha, let the viewers know what it is that you love to do.
Well, I love to read, but I don't get paid to do that. So I am Natasha Ferguson. I am a certified HR professional here in the Atlanta area. I've been in HR probably looks like over 14 years now. And so I love it. I love helping people. I love coaching people. And so in my, as I call my day job, I am a regional HR business partner for a large organization here. I'm also the chair of diversity and inclusion. Also, I am a coach. So I am a career coach and I assist women and some men, but my target audience is mainly women in how to leverage their value proposition. And so, kind of identifying what their strong suits are and then being able to leverage that. Because I've learned that women, a lot of times, we think that if we work, that someone is going to just tap us on the shoulder and say, hey, you're doing a great job and I'm going to promote you. And typically that is not the case, right? And so there's a lot of strategy that goes into that. And so I kind of work with them in order to be able to leverage that.
All right, cool. So a career coach. I know a lot of times we say, well, I went to college, I got all these degrees, and now I'm ready to work. What do I need a career coach for? I've done all the work. And so it is very interesting. So I'm excited, looking forward to all the nuggets that you're going to drop. And I want to encourage my entrepreneurs to make sure you're taking notes, because just because she says she's a career coach, trust me, we're going to talk a little bit about how those things cross and how they work together. The things that I've learned in corporate America during my time when I was there. I'm full-time entrepreneur now, but a lot of some of the skill sets and things that I use in my business, I learned in corporate America. So, and I didn't have Natasha back then, so I had to get out and do my own thing. I didn't know nothing about a coach to help me get promoted. So I said, you know what? They're not going to elevate me. You know, God is just going to have to bless me elsewhere. So that is reassuring. So if someone, you put in a hard work and you put your years in college and you really want to excel in your career, so Natasha is going to have some great information for you. So I want to welcome our guest. The AK Legacy Foundation is the organization that sponsors this webcast, and we come on weekly. 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I always like to let my guests know, if you're able to hop on, that's great. If you have to come back and watch the replay, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, like, comment in the section. Make sure that you also go to our website at aklegacyfoundation.org and find out all about what we're doing there. And if you have a skill or an expertise that you would like to share with our listening audience, viewing audience in this case, send us an email, let us know, and we would love to have you on the show. So we are going to, we're going to go ahead and get started. On today, these are the topics that we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about 9 to 5 versus the 1099. Natasha posted something yesterday. This wasn't even, I don't think I really had it in here. I knew we would have talked about it, but I saw a post that Natasha did yesterday in her Facebook group. And I said, you know what, that's a great topic. We're going to talk about that. A lot of times people are challenged because they do have a 9 to 5 and they don't have their own business. So some business owners, they shy down on people who do work a 9 to 5. So we're going to talk about that. Is a 9 to 5 better than the 1099? You know, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about skills and talent, some of the things that we've learned, and then some of the things that God just blessed us with. You know, some of us can sing and dance, some of us can talk. So we're going to see, you know, where is it really? Is it in your skills or is it in your talent? We're going to talk about taking the leap. It takes some faith. So we're going to talk about a strategic plan if you want to exit. Of course, this is only an hour, so we're not going to be able to give you guys step by step, line by line of everything. And then it's so much to talk about, and we're so excited to be here with you guys. So just bear with us. And like I said, if there's anything that we don't cover that you want more information about, toward the end, we will have our contact information included. We're going to also talk about working in hostile environments. I need to write a book about that. I mean, I have some real experiences that when it was happening, I was like, felt like I had an out of body experience. Like, if this happened in real life, I only thought this happened on Dynasty. I didn't know that this type of thing would happen in real life. I thought that was for Dynasty and Scandal and the Oval Office. I didn't know that stuff really happened.
It does.
It does. And then we are going to talk about the election. I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm 46. And this is the first time I think that this has been the most controversial election. So whether you're red or blue or in the middle, we are going to talk about the election as well. And so let's get into our coffee and conversation. Yay. All right. So I'm going to get a chance to pick on Natasha. She has no idea what questions I'm going to ask her, but I've been following her for some time, so I think I'm gonna do okay. I think she's gonna fare well. So, Natasha, our first question for you: you are currently doing both. You're in 9 to 5, and you're in entrepreneurship. So you kind of get a chance to have a neutral or a unbiased, or you have compassion for both sides.
Right.
So what is your advice to those who are in a 9 to 5, but they are embarrassed to be in a 9 to 5 because they may have a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs? So what is your advice to them?
Um, I'm one of those people. They probably don't want my advice on that one because I'm one of those people. I really don't give a care about what you have going on. Whatever works for me works for me. But I think that if you have a desire to go into the marketplace, right, in your job, I always say I look at my job as my investor. So that's the attitude that I have when I go to work. And maybe if you look at it that way, you won't really be embarrassed because you're not there yet. But you have to do what you have to do. And if a part of your dream is to have a business, right, and you don't have the income yet in order to be able to do that, then you have to find the way in order to do it. And so instead of going out getting a loan that you can't pay for yet because you don't have the income from your business, then why not leverage your job? And so you just look at it as I am providing a service that is getting me an income that I'm also going to flip into doing the thing that I really want to do. And so if you change that mindset when you're going to work, it doesn't seem like something that you have to be ashamed of. And then you have to change your mindset of how you're going to show up there so that you can maximize it, get more out of it, right? So you can get more money. If you show up in a better headspace, you provide a better service, you get more income, more investment, you take it, you flip it, you know, where we from. I talk, flip this to make this better.
Hey, look, I tell people all the time, I say, y'all can come up in here acting all like you just flew in on a cloud, but
no, ma'am.
Let's keep it real. You gotta have a plan or a goal. So and it's funny you say that in order to flip anything, in order to take something and turn it into something else, or to transition, you gotta have a plan. So planning is like a dirty word to entrepreneurs. I'm gonna tell you, it was like and even those on a 9 to 5, they feel like, okay, why do I have to plan my day? Because I go to work, I clock in, I do my job, then I clock out. So what is there to plan? So what is your advice to those of us who are challenged by planning, whether on entrepreneur or if we're in the workforce?
I look at a plan as a roadmap, right? And so sometimes we have ideas and all the ideas are in our head. And if you're like me, I wake up in the middle of the night with ideas. Stuff just rolling around. And so I keep something handy so that I can write it down. And I think that if you look at your plan as like a roadmap or a compass, sometimes you start off going one way and then you have to detour and so you get distracted by life, by things that come up, obstacles that you weren't aware of. that you didn't know were coming. And then if you have that plan, you can always pivot, return to the plan. Okay, let me find out where I was. Because if you don't have one, then you find yourself distracted. You all off on 3 other different paths, and you don't even know where you left off and where to go back to. And so you lose so much time when you're trying to figure out where was I last? What was the last thing I was doing? Where was I supposed to be? And so if you plan how to exit, just like you plan your day at work, I don't start my day without a plan. Now, does it always go according to plan? No. But at least I have a structure of what it should look like. And then if I don't get everything accomplished tomorrow, I know where I stopped off. And I know what I can just kind of carry over, what I can delegate, what I might just leave alone because I just overbooked my day. Some things, sometimes you have to put it down. So I encourage everyone, especially a woman, as my grandma said, you need to have a good purse, a good pen, and a notebook. A woman should always have some type of something to write because we come up with all types of stuff. We're some bad creatures. We come up with some stuff.
That's right. God created us with just the special stuff. I used to tease the guys. I used to say he used that. I said he used that red clay mud to make y'all, and he used Miracle-Gro dirt to make us.
Exactly. Exactly. We got some good stuff.
Yeah, we made out some good stuff. And so I heard something in there, and it kind of spilled over into my next segment. But I'm gonna ask it now so I don't forget.
Okay.
You said delegate. Oh my God, that is like, yes, it's like confetti comes out the sky. But the issue for some entrepreneurs, myself included, sometimes we're like delegate, but who are we going to delegate it to? Yeah. So is it an issue that we have a problem holding on and we don't want to relinquish power? I don't think so. I just think sometimes we're just so passionate about our baby. Our business is our baby. Yeah, and so to delegate, what is your thought process on delegating for entrepreneurs? Like just delegate, let it go.
I think when you are looking at entrepreneurship, especially when you are a solopreneur or you are very, very small, you don't have a team of people to delegate things to, or you may not have the resources. You have the desire to have a team, but you don't have the resources yet to get a team. And sometimes we look at delegation as a person, and it doesn't always have to be a person, right? It could be automation. It could be the fact that I'm trying to post, on 9 different platforms, and I don't have the time to do that and balance my 9 to 5. So let me find a platform or a digital product that posts for me, that I can plan those, I can schedule those. Let me figure out some type of onboarding system. And there are all types of things that people can use that are free, that will allow them to be able to automate their systems better. So delegation doesn't always have to look like a human resource. It could look like some type of system that aids you. Delegation to me also looks like a planner or a scheduler, something that I'm able to actually write things down, plan it out, move things around, make my day more flexible, my work, something that's more tangible that I can actually flip. Because when we have it all in our head, we can't really move things around and we lose information. So I think the first thing is not just thinking about delegation as a person.
Okay, and that's key. And especially nowadays with all the technology, it's information overload. There's an app for everything. You'd be surprised. I was like, there's an app for that. And so that's one of the things that I tell a lot of people: get a plan together, put a system in place. Just as in corporate America, there's systems. When you go on a job interview and you get hired, they give you a handbook, they give you some training videos. Everything has already been put into a system and it's already ready to receive you as an employee. And so a lot of times we lose that in transition to entrepreneurship. We forget about the things that did work. And everything in corporate America isn't all bad. As a matter of fact, a lot of it is all great. If you ask me, for my opinion, you take the system that was working for you there. When you went to work, you worked your 40 hours or whatever the case may be, you got a paycheck. Everything was already systematized. And we as business owners, especially as female entrepreneurs, we need to take that same mindset of saying, okay, let me step back. Let me plan out what I would like to do. Like you said, nothing's gonna go always as planned,
Yeah.
but you gotta have a roadmap. You gotta have something kind of hold you to, so we can take that mindset and say, you know what, let me develop a system for my company the way that I want to run it. It's your company, it's your ship, you do what you want, but put it in some type of format that'll hold you accountable and have a system. Because if you do delegate, what piece of reference are you going to give them to go back to? A lot of times we lose that when we lose that. And it also helps in communication when you have a system in place, when you have a plan in place that is written, clear cut. So let's talk about, the good old, I want to talk about skill sets and talent.
Okay.
Skill sets and talent. So this has been my challenge. So hopefully look, let me get my notepad out and because I know you're going to say something that I'm going to need to come back to. All right. So lots of times, they say, well, either you have it or you don't. And I always say, well, that's kind of true on some things, but I'm such a believer that you can learn anything. You can YouTube it, you can follow somebody, you can practice, you can get out there and just attempt to do it and see how it all comes out, and then go back and evaluate. So I'm a firm believer of learning how to do things. But in entrepreneurship, it's a lot of talent, but no skill. Don't y'all come for me. And then in corporate America, it's a lot of skills, no talent, no going over and beyond. And just like you said earlier, when you're on a job, it's not just like, oh, I'm here to get a paycheck. If you really want to be successful in anything, you should put your best into it. But that kind of takes some sort of magic motivation. So what is your spiel on skill set and talent in both areas?
So I think I'm going to probably speak from the career space first, because that's my baby. I think that a lot of times we forget about our talents, right, when we go into the workplace, because we've studied and we have our expertise and we've got our certifications and we've got our, I've got my learning. I've learned all of these things and I know so much. And then we get there and we forget about all of the God-given gifts, those talents, those skills that you have, because you need both of those, right? But I think the problem is that we are so unaware of self. And I think that's the beginning of the issue. That's the most underutilized tool that I think entrepreneurs and people that are in the workplace. Self-awareness will help you with a whole lot of other stuff. It's like foundational. If I know what my strengths are, I know what my God-given talents are, then I know how to flip those, leverage that, and combine them with the things that I learned. But I won't know my shortcomings. I won't know the things, the gaps, if I haven't taken the time to really know myself and know what I'm good at and know what I'm really good at. Because we think that we're good at a lot of stuff.
Right. According to us,
And we really are not that great at it. And so it's that. And we don't really want the truth because we want to believe that we're great at everything. And sometimes it's okay for somebody to be able to tell you, well, you're okay at that, but you're not really great.
Right. And I'm just laughing because I'm thinking about my son played travel ball. He played basketball in high school. He's playing ball now in college. But I thought about one time there was this lady. I mean, I'm not gonna call any name, but her son really wasn't that good. But according to her, he was, and she could never. It was always this tug with her. And so one day I just said, you know what? I said, what is he? What is his passion? I'm trying to change the subject because she was so hell bent on he going to bowl. And I was like, oh, okay, well, so I said, well, let me have this conversation with her, because I would always just brush her off. And I said, well, what is he passionate about? And I don't know what it was. It was something. It was unremote to basketball, to tell you that. And I remember having that conversation with her, and about 2 years ago, I ran into her in the store and I asked her, I said, what you done there? She said, oh, he's in, I don't know if it was art. She said something like, he's in art school. And she said it with such joy and the frustration was gone. So I think a lot of times when we can do something, we take that and run with it. That's our skill set. Oh, I know how to do this and I'm gonna do it. But then when we suppress what we're passionate about. Exactly. And if we could ever find that and put it all together, we could just be so great at it. So a lot of times, you know, when we get into entrepreneurship and working in the workplace, if it's not our passion, you know, either, so you have some that'll suppress it. Like, just forget it. I'll just do this job for the next 40 years. And, oh, well, I should have been a fashion designer, but I'm a nurse. Oh, well, who, you know, get over it. And then there's the other one who went off and became the fashion designer and should have been in nursing school, you know. So what happens when you're midway and you didn't do, you know, and you realize, you know what, this is not for me. I need to.
I think I am one of those people who is crazy enough to believe that it's never a bad time to pivot. I can always change. You know, if God gives me the opportunity to wake up another day, it's another opportunity for me to try something different or to be someone different, or try a different avenue. I mean, it's a new day. It's 24 more hours. I have a whole nother 24 hours to do whatever I want to do with, right? You know, as long as it aligns. But I can do whatever I want to do. And so it's never a time that it's too late to change stuff. Because you see it all the time, right? We see people who are in jobs, and because they are a good task doer, they're good at doing tasks, then they promote them to manager. But you're not a good manager. You can't manage people. You're good at doing something, but you're not great at being or leading or empowering people in something. And that's okay. Though that's when you have the difference between talent and skill. Because you know, you have the skills that you have learned and the ability to be able to do the work, but you don't have the other things, those God-given talents, you know, to be empathetic to people, to be encouraging to a person, to be able to push them. Those are other kind of things that you need to be able to, I'm not gonna say all the time you have to be born with them, but it would help if you were born with them. And if you aren't born with them, then there are some things that can be tweaked and developed. But again, if you don't know that, and if you aren't aware of that because you haven't taken the time to do any self-introspection, you haven't taken the time to take any assessments, you haven't taken the time to seek any feedback from anybody else, you're just going off of your own little mind, or you're living out somebody else's dreams for you and what they think that you're good at. Oh, Candy, I think you should be a nurse. You have such a good way with people. Well, you didn't even ask me. I'm afraid of needles. I mean, I don't want to see blood. You don't know that. I made
all the other things that go along with it. You know, right. Yeah, I'm a people person.
You make a lot of money doing it. Okay, yeah, you're right. But I may not be able to because that doesn't fit who I am.
Right. I'm a people person and I don't meet a stranger. And I probably would be one of those good nurses that the one that just come around and speak. Do they have a nurse that just come and talk to the patient? You don't have to touch them.
I don't know if they have that one. Maybe okay. Well, might be a nurse consultant.
Okay, well, yeah, that would be me, but you don't want me to be your nurse. If you ever come in the room and you see me as your nurse, you need to start running, you know, and that's good because like the lady and I that I mentioned earlier with her son playing basketball, just imagine if she would not have at least explored the option. Let's say he did make it to the NBA, you know, by some hope and prayer. He would have made it, and then he would have been miserable. So, like you said, we should take the time to get to know who we are, what we like, what we're good at, what we can improve at, get some feedback. And that's so very key. I know we had our women's conference for the Women in Business organization, and you spoke about getting feedback from others. And I was like, ouch, you know, a lot of times people don't want that in any field, you know, but think about it. In the career aspect, you have that 90-day review. You have that 6-month evaluation, you have that year in review, and that is basically getting the feedback. And sometimes people walk in those meetings and they get this rude awakening that they didn't get all A's on their report card for their career evaluation. Then they leave and they say, you know what, just forget it. They don't like me. but it just would have maybe have been some things that they could have worked on to improve and then stuck with the job and got promoted. And the same way so in entrepreneurship, who is evaluating us? Who, like, hey, this is my store. I sell these candles and this is the best fragrance going. And why do I need your feedback? Because God gave me this business and that's it. We're not, seeking advice. So I think we lose those systems. And just like we have it in the workforce where we have those 90-day reviews, we need to have the same thing in entrepreneurship. So what is your advice to receiving constructive criticism or just criticism in general? What is your advice for that?
I think it all comes down to whether or not you want to grow, right? So if you want to grow, then you have to understand that a part of growth is going to be that season where people are going to come and they're going to prune and pull things off of you. And then there's going to be those seasons where they're going to come and they're going to fertilize and give you extra water and stuff. But you have to have both. You can't have growth seasons without having the pruning season and then without having the fertilizing water season. You got to have both. You can't have one without the other. You've never seen a plant, a flower, or any of the vegetation that we have that just pops up. Somebody had to go. They had to plant, dig the ground. They had to put it in, and then they had to go and tend it. And tending does not always feel good. Tending to that plant doesn't always feel like, oh, woo, let me come and put some water on it. Oh, let me talk to the plant. Sometimes it's like, let me pull the dead leaves off. Let me pull the weeds up. Let me spray this old smelly insecticide on it. I have all these things that I need to do to it. And so we have to be able to take it. If you don't, if you're okay and you just want to stay where you are, then that's fine. Then just understand that, you will not grow without constructive criticism. And I tell people, don't look at it as criticism. It's feedback that you're going to use. Mm-hmm. And you have a choice, right? You don't have to always agree with it to the point that it permeates to your system and it prevents you from being able to go forward. That's what happens. It's how we receive it. The person may have told it to us and they gave it to us the way that they saw it. Sometimes it's not pretty, so I'm not going to put a dress on it to let you know that you are, deficient in these areas. I got to tell you the way that it is. However, it's for you to be able to say, okay, was there any truth in that? Let me take that in. She observed it. I thought that it went this way. She's telling me that it went that way. What is it that I am able to do? Now, a person may add, in addition to their feedback, their personal opinion. Now, that's on you. That's an adjustment for you to make and an agreement for you to say, okay, well, I'm going to agree without it and make it now it's my personal opinion, or I'm just going to allow it myself to be able to take the things that are applicable, apply them, change, and see some changes and some results, or I'm going to sit here and just say, well, I don't want to hear nothing she has to say because she can't. Because that's the attitude that we take, right?
Right. I don't know who she's talking to.
I don't know who she's talking to. I know how to do this. I've been doing this for 15 years. Well, you've been doing it 15 years wrong.
Right.
And that is why you are still in the same place.
That is so true. And I know there are a lot of pastors out here and that can appreciate what you just said. They're taking that and say, we're going to apply that to ministry. And that is so true. And I know a total sidebar, but that is even in ministry where that we just feel like everything is just, on a bed of flowers and it's however the Lord lead us and that's it. And there's no room for improvement or correction. And that is not the case. That is not the case in the workplace. And it's not the case in your business. Even if you're the sole owner, the only employee, you need to have someone doing a reflection, watching and coming back and giving you some feedback, just so that you can have an extra set of eyes. It's better. A team is always better because someone can be objective to pull out something that you may overlook. You may have another skill set, another talent. There may be something that you can help somebody else with, and you may not see it because you're so focused on what's on your goal list. But if you can have that feedback, and I like the way you substitute the word criticism with feedback, because it does take the sting out of it. It does mean the same thing, right. But we have just taken the word criticism and just made it this ugly word. And to say the word feedback is more so of an observation. Look, I'm observing what you're doing. This is what I think you can improve, or this is what's not like. And like you said, then it's your choice to accept and grow and learn and change. And and it was so very key what you said about people been on the job 15 years. A lot of times seniority is like a seal of approval for some people.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, they get stuck in that, and it's just like, hey, I've been here the longest. They become territorial, and so I know in your career coaching, how do you? And this was probably a question we would have talked about later, but that's okay. So, how do you help coach those, or what advice you give those that they're in a place where they want to excel, but it's marked off as territory by somebody who has been there 15, 20 years? What advice do you give them to break through that?
So it really comes down to being realistic, right? So there are some organizations where the structure is set up so that there is no opportunity. And you have to be realistic with that. But the only way, again, for you to be realistic with that is for you to honestly take an assessment of where you are, what your strong suits are, what your skill set is, what you have accomplished, what you've done, where you are. So now I know what I have, what I've done, what I can do. And then I say, okay, this is where I am. This is where I want to go. What are the things that I need to do in order to get there? Is there any gap? This person has this role, they're in it. I really want to be in it. Are they going to ever move out of this space? Or is there an opportunity for me to get there? And if there are things I need to do, let me write those down. Let me figure out, is there a certification I need to have? Is there a mentor that I need to get? And then you may find out that there is a similar role in another department. It doesn't look exactly like yours, but it may give you the same responsibility, the same opportunity for growth. It may even change the trajectory of your career altogether. And then you should have a relationship with the person above you, your supervisor, manager, the team leader of your group, that you can go to and say, well, look, this is my goal and my plan. And again, that's where planning comes from.
Yeah, there go that word again.
Can't have a sound conversation if I cannot articulate what it is that I want to do, and not just because I deserve it, not because I've been here 9 years and I should.
So in other words, we can't just go popping off like,
right.
Hey, like when you gonna give me a raise? When you,
right. So I need for you to tell me why I should give you a raise. You should be able to articulate to me the value that you have been bringing and the reason why you should be in that role. And if you are unable to do that, then just because you've been there the number of years, you're not automatically. This is not, some family where we're just passing down. I'm the king, and then the next child in line is the king, and you go, but this is not what we do.
So there we go again with that mindset. I hear mindset in there that now I can't be lazy and just come to work every day, clock in, clock out. And now that I've been here 5 years, I'm supposed to automatically have the carpet rolled out for me. So it sounds as if there needs to be some planning. There need to be some strategy sessions going on. If you're serious, invest in yourself a coach. I refer to Natasha, of course.
Absolutely.
So you want to, if you want to, you got to really invest in it. This is not going to be handed to you. And I just ring the alarm to all of my entrepreneurs. This same concept applies. If you're a vendor, you want to work for us a particular event. They don't never patronize my business. They don't never shop with me. They don't never. Okay, so what value are you providing? How is your sales pitch? What are you showing them? Do you have any samples? What are your testimonies from your clients? Do you have your Google review? How is your website? Have you put the work in? And instead of waiting for it to just fall on us, or because I've been in business 20 years and then you just automatically, customers should just be busting down my door. No, there is some work and some planning that needs to go into that. And I hear that. And so, like I was saying earlier, I know a lot of the pastors would appreciate some of the stuff we're saying about, making sure that you are taking constructive criticism or feedback. So I want to bring you guys up. We're going to take like a little quick sidebar, but Natasha and I are going to actually be speaking at Breath of Life. It's a virtual conference. I have been to the actual live event, but we know due to COVID, everything is online now for the most part, but that's because we want to remain safe and we want to give people a chance to still participate. But Pastor Tasha Dillon and the New Life Fellowship family Breath of Life conference is next week, and Natasha and I both will have the honor and the privilege to be on this platform with some amazing women of God, and we're going to be talking about merging into the workplace. That'll be Natasha and I's topic. That we'll be tag teaming on, and we're going to be on Tuesday. But the conference starts Sunday. It's going to be Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Get plugged in. Go to Facebook, Breath of Life, and the itinerary is there. It's going to be an amazing time, and we're going to get to bring some of our skills and talents into the ministry, and we're going to talk about how that works for those of us who are followers of Christ. And so I'm looking forward to all the speakers. I'm excited, and I was like, boy, me and Natasha been hanging pretty tight, you know, because you were at the women's conference that we had for the foundation for the women in business. And I'm telling you, I was like, well, who is that lady, and how can I get in touch with her? Because she was giving us some truth on taking feedback. I mean, it was much needed. And so if you haven't seen that, go back and watch the replay for that as well. And then next week, we're going to both be at Breath of Life. And so I just wanted to kind of invite our guests to that to make sure that they know about it and so that they can get the information. It's going to be a good time. And so we're going to, and then also on next Wednesday at 11, we're going to have Mr. Kirk on. He is going to talk to us about nutrition and corporate wellness. Kind of ties into what we're talking about today. So he's going to take all of what we've been talking about on the getting your mind right side. Now he's going to come talk to us about what are we eating? You know, how is that making us sluggish? You know, you want this promotion. Are you going to be able to physically keep up? You know, and so he's going to come and give us some great insight on that. And I'm going to be asking some questions. I'm on a mission to lose about 10 more pounds. So I'm going to be trying to get all the information I can on all these different diets that's out there. So our next set of things that we want to talk about, we're going to talk about taking that, we're going to talk a little bit about that exit strategy. And I think we kind of mentioned a few things before, but we're going to really get into the exit strategy. And then we're going to talk about being working in a hostile environment. So Natasha, hey, I've been at this job 15 years. I'm ready to go. These people make me sick. I don't like none of them. And well, I hope that's not everybody's complaint, but let's just say, they just, up to here with the workforce. Yeah. And they want to really get into entrepreneurship. Now, there are some, I believe in your case, in my case, we love what we do in corporate America. We take pride in our work. We believe in putting our best foot forward, and we're working on our businesses after hours. So we do that. But there are some who never been in business, don't know the first thing about it, but they know that God is calling them to do something else. And they love their job and they're doing a great job, but they really want to do something else. So what would an exit strategy even look like to begin with? I know you can't give it all to us now, but give us a little snippet of what we need to do.
I think an exit strategy, of course, I'm going to go back to my wonderful, wonderful word of planning. The first thing is planning. It's writing down what it is that you want to do. So I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in corporate America. Where do I want to be? What do I want to do? The other thing you would want to do is make a list. What are the things that I have in my hand right now that God has given me, that he has me with, my God-given talents and skills that somebody's going to pay for? So whether it's something that I know how to do or it's something that I know how to make, what are those things? So write them all down. What is it that I have that I can sell? What is it I can do that I can sell? Whatever those things are. Because at the end of the day, remember, you're going to be transitioning from one form of payment to another, unless you're deciding that you're going to leave corporate America and you just want to go home and sit down. That's a great one too.
Yes.
Strategy and planning.
That's the strategy from entrepreneurship. I need that.
But yeah, so you You have to be able to figure out how you're going to take this income and replace it with this income. And so the first thing I would do is not just, oh, so many people are like, oh, I think I just, they make good money doing, running the daycare. I'm going to go open a daycare. Well, do you know anything about running daycare? You're not even a good parent. I've seen your kids. I don't think I want you running. But what? That's what we do. We see things. It's shiny. It's bright. It looks good. And so we want to do it. So I think you just start with assessing what you're good at, what you really are good at, what you already have in your hands, what you know that you know that you know. The things that people always say, you know what? That makes sense. That was good. That was good advice. All right, girl, this cake was. This cake right here. This made me want to slap my mama. Okay, how much would you pay to slap your mama? Would you $20? $25? So I think figuring out what that thing is, then planning it out, writing it, giving yourself a timetable. What is the time that I'm going to be able to exit? Because you just don't go jump and say I'm.
But that's what, when you say taking a leap of faith, they just. God said, and I'm gone. And
I gave you good sense. I hope. I think that he didn't make any mistakes. That's what I believe. So I believe that he gave you good wisdom and common sense to know that leap of faith is one thing, right? But we need to be realistic in the fact that there's some faith and then there's some works.
Right, the work part. And see, I think a lot of times, like you said, the shiny thing, they forget about, that's why I say you should talk to an entrepreneur before you exit, follow them, shadow them, find out what it is. See about the 12 hours that they're just going through emails. What about, the 1 a.m. in the morning and then having to get up at 5? Don't leave all that out. Yeah, you see the shiny things. You see the money coming in, what appears to be money coming in. I've talked about that because I'm the business that I'm in. I do a lot of the back office work as far as the bookkeeping and the payroll and making sure that the businesses are in compliance. And I do have clients that I have one gentleman, multi-millionaire, actually in the account. There's millions of dollars in the account. But the bleeding in the account is just, the expenses are just they're just crazy, just not having a system in place. Things all out of order. Got employees with no review system, people quit, come back. It's just, everything is chaotic. But on the surface, it just appears to be, hey, they got all this money, they got this nice house, got this nice car, and they doing it. So I'm just gonna start me a business. But they don't, so be careful. Planning, making sure that back office matches the front office.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times, they forget about it. You got to, and the bookkeeping in entrepreneurship is a whole lot different than in corporate, because in corporate I can say, look, I work 23 hours and 19 minutes times $10. That's how much you owe me. Well, in entrepreneurship, it don't quite work that way, so you have to have a system, have a plan, the exit strategy, like you said, give yourself a timeline, a deadline. Don't just jump out there. Start getting some things in place. I'm a strong believer of starting the business. If you're going to exit, start the business while you still have some source of income. And a lot of times people say, well, don't have a plan B. You just need to stick to plan A. Well, maybe if I was single and living at home with my mom and didn't have any bills, that might work. But when you have a family that rely on you, you have a lifestyle that you have established for yourself, and so I really think planning and being strategic about exiting. And then sometimes, and of course, we're not saying, because we are women of faith, and so we're not saying if God tells you to do something and that it was God and he said do it today, then you have to obey the voice of the Lord. But we're also saying, like you said, have that wisdom. You better know that that was God speaking to you to do it so abruptly and so immediately. And then you always want to leave with integrity.
I was just about to say that one of the biggest things that you want to make sure, especially if you're transitioning from corporate into the marketplace, is that you leave on a good note, because you don't want to leave that bridge burned, broken, on the ground, and you need to go back, because you never know. Things happen, economy changes, pandemics come along, all types of things, can occur. And when you have a plan and so if you had your plan, you looking at the plan, then the last place that I was in corporate America, and I was able to make this amount of income. So I may need to go back there, because that's the last place I was when I was able to sustain myself. I'm out here, I'm doing okay, but I'm not doing as much as I would like. Where was that last step? Oh, it was over here. Can I go back there? No, because you decided that you was going to take a leap of faith. You didn't give any notice. You didn't clean up the last projects you were on. Popped off at the mouth before you walked out the door. You did all types of stuff. And your personal brand is garbage, right? And so now you can't go back this way. And the one thing I tell people is the way that you show up at work is more than likely going to be the way that you show up in the marketplace. It's not going to be any different, because wherever you go, there you are. You being the common denominator. You're going to show up over there the same way that you showed up here. And so you want to do that in integrity. You just can't.
And another thing, not just leaving projects undone and not being able to go back in case of need. Also, because in entrepreneurship, it's built a lot on relationships.
Absolutely.
A lot of people that I do business with now that I met in some corporate event, so you would just not, if you left on such a bad note and you're so shabby, now that you're up and running, you could, if you make cake, for example, if you would have left in a great space, this company, they pay $1,000 for the company lunch. You could have went back to them and said, hey, remember me? I'm making cakes now. Would you all be interested in patronizing my business? And they're like, oh yeah, sure, we remember, bring it on. But if you left in such a bad note, now you can't even petition the place where you put in all the work and you develop such great relationship. Even out of a sense of obligation, they should want to patronize you. Hey, if it wasn't for you, the business wouldn't be the company wouldn't be where it is, So it's not just having that safety net to go back, but also the integrity of the relationship. You got to remember, there are people that work there.
And people that work there, they work with you, and they don't forget. You know that you left and you did not have a good disposition when you were there. You didn't mind personal brand when you were there. And that same thing is going to follow you everywhere. Now, as a matter of fact, it's going to lead. People like to say your reputation follows you, but no, your reputation beats you there. Opens the door, and hey, you have a bad reputation. You're rude. You're not good. You're not a good steward of time. You're not a good steward of finances. It greets you, opens the door and lets you in, and there you have it. And it's just, I don't know. It drives me insane when people say, I'm just going to go. And then you say, well, what are you going to do? I don't know. I'll figure it out. And that's, and I'm not, there are some people who have the ability to be able to do that. But even if you talk to them, you'll realize that there were some things that they wish that they had done differently.
Right. And then just to, like you said, just to abruptly leave sometimes, like I said, you leave somebody somewhere hanging, somebody somewhere. If you had a project going, or if there was this customer you had to call back, you left somebody hanging somewhere, and that speaks a lot to your integrity. That speaks to your character. And it's not always the case, because there's some situation where people get fired or they've been wrongly let go. Those things are there. We're not speaking to the end all to be all, but we're saying if you have an option, leave on a good note, not just so that you can have a good reputation, but don't leave the next person hanging. That person, you may run across them one day and they be like, no, I remember you did me wrong. And that wasn't even the owner. They could have been the guy in the mailroom. I don't know. And you just brushed it off. And what about those people that used to come to that place of business looking for you? Exactly. You didn't even get a chance to tell them that, you're their favorite cashier, and you're no longer there. You didn't get a chance to tell them, hey, in a couple of months, I'm going to be gone, just, I don't know. I'm not like you, you said you're just so passionate about making sure people do right in their careers. And I'm just so and I know that's mutual, that we want people to just be in a good space. You know, that even carries over into ministry. Don't just leave, you know, say bye or something, you know.
Operate in integrity. That's just the thing. Like, you know, I tell clients all the time, talent is never enough. Talent will definitely take you places that your character cannot keep you if you're not practicing and making sure that you are mindful of those things. You've got to tie them together. You can't have one without the other.
Right. That is so true. That is so true. Y'all know we can go. We got a couple more things we're gonna talk about, but y'all know we get two ladies together with some tea.
You know, we can take this on for hours. I know, right? This is good stuff. I'm like,
yeah. So what else? So I want you guys to follow us on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at Martin_business_solution, and you can follow Natasha at Clatch Corp. Okay, come on.
Let's go pros.
She got a tongue twister. She didn't know we can't get that together like that. So, but follow us on Instagram. We do. We're dropping nuggets here and there. We're talking. We're reaching out. We're giving information. And just follow us. You know, hey, we're asking. Hey, the Bible says you have not because you ask not. So I am asking that you follow us so that we can
absolutely
have our follower numbers. Like my daughter and all those millennials, they're all about, you know, getting those numbers up. So help us out. We want to be cool too. We want to be able to put that post, that post they make on Instagram up to 500 followers, and they have. Yeah. I want to do one of those.
All the stuff falling down. Yeah, yeah.
Right. I want one of those. So yeah, help us out. But anyway, follow us on Instagram, and we, you know, find out what we're doing. If you have questions for us that we weren't able to answer here live, get with us. Let us know that you enjoyed the show. Give us some encouragement. Give us some feedback.
Absolutely. We always love feedback. I do. I always send my clients after our coaching sessions. I always send them a gift, and then inside the gift is the gift for me. So I always include a feedback card so that they can tell me some things that they would like to see differently if they coach with me again, or something that I can do better for my next client. Because I just love it. I think feedback, again, is the only way to grow. I always want to be able to do better and more. I mean, that's part of my personality too, but.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's what makes you you. You know, I think it was yesterday. It may have been yesterday. I told them, don't dim your light, you know, and your light could be, you know, that thing that you're passionate about. Like you just said, that's just, you know, that could be just you. Yeah, that's your light. Let it shine. Hey, this is me unapologetically. This is me. And
absolutely.
These are some of the things that I've learned and I've grown and I've improved. But I'm not going to dim my personality, because my personality is why we even having this conversation anyway. I love to talk, you know, so I wanted to sing and dance, but it didn't work out for me. So I said, okay, what am I good at? Okay, I stayed in trouble in school for talking. I had all A's in like schoolwork, but I would have like F's and D's in behavior. Not from being bad. I just was talking. Yeah. I talked all through class. I want to talk. I mean, like, okay, I've done my work. Okay, teacher, you're boring. I'm not, you know, you're not holding my attention. So I'm just gonna start talking. I just started talking. And being an only child, I was around other kids like, hey, it's time to talk.
But see how you have been able to take what was in your hands and turn it into your business. You're able to talk and empower people and give them the information that they need. And I think that's what you really have to be cognizant of. I mean, it's the same thing with me. You know, I was telling my husband when I first started my business, like, do I really want to coach you? And are they going to listen to me? Like, what is it that I'm doing that's any different than anybody else? And then I had to realize that it's my story. It's who I am. I can get on a job, and I've never been on a job since I have started in corporate America, which I started in my 20s. My first career, I was a paralegal. And so before I transitioned into HR, but I've never been on a job where I was not promoted at least twice within a 12-month period. I didn't care what the job was. That is me. That's who I am. And it's not because of anything miraculous or something different, something crazy that I did that was different than anyone else. It's the fact that I understand that there are some things about you that you need to be able to know, to leverage, and let people know, right? You can't do it in a silo, you can't do it in silence. You got to make sure that people understand and see you and see your gifts. And I was able to do that. So that is my passion. That is what I do. It's not just career coaching. Hey, this is what you do. I help you do your resume, which I do. You know, I help you tell your story, tell the right story, because I'm passionate about that as well. Don't just throw out this, formatted crap that you find on a form. There is a story that needs to be told. I'm passionate about that as well, but I'm really passionate about people understanding that it's more than just showing up and sitting in the seat. If you're trying to grow, that takes some strategy and some work. And and it's applicable to whatever job that you have. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you are a clerk at the grocery store. You
Right.
don't want to be a clerk at the grocery store forever. Let's talk. We can work that out. But it requires some work. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to give up in order to get to the next level? And are you willing to put in the work that's required?
Yeah, there goes that word again, putting in the work, being strategic, and all of that is important. And like I said, it's in any area. I don't care what job, what career, what business, you need to be striving to be better. And that is so good. Like you said, that is just your makeup. Congrats on being able to have that story that you promoted twice at least in a 12-month period. That is something to be applauded. And so if you're looking to do the same, I suggest that you get with Natasha. Go to her, follow her on Instagram, get all her following information on how to book with her. And so to go ahead and be intentional about getting to the next level. Before we get into our last topic, I just kind of want to make sure you guys go to our website, aklegacyfoundation.org. There you will find more information about Ask the Expert. You'll find previous webcast that we've had. You can go and watch the replay. This one will be available on the site later this evening. So if you didn't get a chance to watch the full version, you can go back or you can refer other people to it. Women in Business is an organization where Natasha is also a member. I am the founder of the AK Legacy Foundation. And so one of our programs is Women in Business, where we assist women in doing the things that they need to excel well in their business. So if you're looking to exit, we do have, we have a referral. Like I said, Natasha's our number one referral. If you're looking to exit, she's a part of the network. If you're looking to get into entrepreneurship and you need to know if your paperwork is in order, if you're in compliance, I can help and assist with that. And those are some of the things that we do with our Women in Business organization. Yes, we do have a good time. We do have fun and we do learn. We do have some events coming up. So I want you guys to get plugged in. So go on our website, check out our resources. We have a youth program called Yes that we partner with Kitty Arsenault is the founder of that organization. We have an Alliance of Kingdom Business Leaders. We have Pastor Tasha Dillon through DC. That's where she does design and graphics. So there's a whole lot of things that are out there. So there's no excuse if you want to excel in your career, if you want to excel in your business, or you want to do both. There's some help out there, there are resources. And so get plugged in and get familiar and let us know what you think. And so we're going to get into our last topic.
Oh.
Yeah, come on. Look, I was like, okay, do I need to check while we're on here? I haven't even done that yet, but the election. So we're just gonna get out there with it. I don't know. Let's see. It's my show. I can take a time and pause out if I want.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see. But no, seriously. One good thing that I'm gonna say, I am proud to see that a lot of people did get into getting serious about voting. People, it's like it should have, and I kind of was frustrated, like they should have already been concerned about voting, but calm down, had to calm myself down. Everybody don't have the same experience at the same time. I have to give myself a pep talk. And so, it's just to say that voting is a civil duty. And it's not a given. It is a right. It is something that can be undone. I've been following more about reading some things. I saw that there are some laws that are actually in place in our country that could be undone because it wasn't put in stone like, okay, forever and ever, this is the rule. There are some things, and I'm not going to call them out because then we'll get into all the politics, and this is not that show. But there are some laws in the local level and on the federal level that can be revoked because they weren't put in concrete stone forever, never ever changing. There are some things, if enough people vote on it, it can be reversed. So if you want to know what I'm talking about and what, be nosy, go find out.
Exactly.
If there's anything that concerns you and you're worried about it or concerned about it, go and look it up, see when it was passed, see how long, because that's one law, I think the one I'm thinking of, I think it was only in place for 25 years. So it actually has already expired. Nobody just went back and visited. So I was like, wow. So if enough people push the envelope, this has already expired. So at some point there needs to be they need to go back to the floor, Congress and the Senate, the House and all. They need to get together and have a kumbaya moment and extend this thing. But so to me, voting, because I am in business, I understand that voting is not just about putting somebody in place like the president or the mayor. I also know that they use the numbers to also allocate funds. So if precinct number A has 100 votes and precinct number B has 5 votes, well, they're only going to give enough money for 5 people. Well, in actuality, there were actually 200 people assigned to that precinct B, but only 5 people voted. So that means that district won't have enough funds to do some of the things that it needs, like the road, the gym, the playgrounds and things like that. They won't have those things in place because it's being counted as only 5 people. So they're going to put more money where there were more votes. And so I know that works. I worked at the clerk of court. So on a local level. So I understand how it goes. It goes by the vote. The vote, that's how we are counted. Like, hey, if you don't vote, you don't count. And so, and it doesn't always have to deal with who's going to be in charge. You want to make sure that you vote so that you can be counted in the funds that follow the money. If precinct A got 1,000 people, hey, I'm going to be putting all my attention over there because you know what? It's 1,000 people over there. It's only 5 over there. So, it's math. It's all it is. It's math, guys. And so that's kind of my take on voting. That's the perspective that I have from it, making sure that you get counted. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have your way in the end because everybody can't be first. Somebody got to be second, but at least everybody would count it, so.
Yeah, and I think we agree definitely from a business perspective and that for voting, my other pet peeve when it comes to voting is local elections. I think enough people, we do not pay attention to local elections. And I think this presidential election, of course, is a very big election that has a lot of implications on what could happen to us, not just now, but for the future. So it's a huge election. But also, just as important is your local election, knowing who's on your student council, who's your mayor, governor, your representative, all of those things, your sheriff, all of those things are extremely important. Your judges, those things are extremely important, and we do not turn out. And when I say we, I'm talking about people who look like us. Okay. And we are the people who are impacted the most, and we have the most issues and the most things that need to be fixed and resolved. And the way that we're able to change that and do some of those things is to vote and exercise our right to make those changes, knowing who is responsible for some of the things that go on in your everyday life. Because at the end of the day, the president is important, right? But what happens on the day-to-day when you wake up and go outside every day, the way that your community looks, the fact that in some areas people have sidewalks and you don't have sidewalks, or the fact that you've got 25 fast food restaurants coming up in your neighborhood and other places have other types of business, the diversity is there of other opportunities, and that you've got to get in your car and drive your child 25 miles across town for school systems. That happens at your local level. And we need to be more involved in that.
Yes,
but now I'm gonna get off my soapbox and
look. Hey, we're being very modest. There's a whole lot more we want to say. But So and even in that, so in opportunities come along, there are things that voting is, to me, I think about Martin Luther King. I think about the people that supported him, the people on the Selma incident. Everything like that comes across my mind when it comes to voting. And so someone once said, I don't know who it was, they said, history not reviewed is history repeated, which means if we're not thinking and reflecting back, if for no other reason, my grandmother, when she was born, did not have the right to vote. She eventually had the right, but she was not born with the right to vote. So to me, to not vote and to know that my grandmother at some point in her life couldn't even vote if she wanted to. I'm the type of person, don't tell me what I can't do. So just think about if, what would be our mindset if we were told, hey, you don't have a voice, you don't matter, you don't count. And to have the opportunity to vote and not vote is it's something for me. Because that's what I'm revisiting history, I'm reviewing, and I'm seeing the blood, sweat, and tears of people of all races, because it wasn't just African Americans advocating for the right to vote. At one point, women couldn't vote at one time.
Exactly. I was about to say we women were not allowed to vote at the same time that they passed the vote. The vote was it didn't include us. It didn't include women, and so that came later. So I mean, it's a lot of reasons why we should be very invested in just the ability to be able to go and vote. It did my heart so good. Like when I was at the polls, I voted early, and to be at the polls, and they were giving special allowances for the elderly and the handicapped or disabled people that had some restrictions, and it just did my heart so well to just see the older people, and they had the option, right? They had the option to be able to do absentee ballots, but you could tell that there was some type of pride that they had with the ability to be able to go to the poll and actually cast their vote. So who am I to just sit my little tail down and not go vote and then have all of these complaints?
Ooh, child. Look, I'm gonna be like, show me your sticker. Did you really vote? I was now, they wasn't giving out stickers here, and I know these people were like, why are they so upset about a sticker? Y'all don't understand. We got to show our sticker to get.
I need to show my sticker. I need to show my sticker.
That I voted. I'm going to get $5 off my meal or something. You better
exactly. As the young people say, I need my receipts. I need you to see that I voted. Shoot. But I mean, it's crazy.
I my right, too. But yeah, guys, so look, there's a whole lot that we can talk about. I want to invite you guys. There's always an opportunity to do something. At Martin Business Solution, I strive to find things because I believe that everything is not for everybody, but I believe there's something for everybody. And sometimes we find opportunities, and I say treat it like a buffet. If I present something to you and it aligns with your plan, and it's a part of your strategy, come on board. So I want to expose you guys to a business opportunity, and it will be on tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time. The Zoom ID is 802-245-6395. And you could always inbox me on social media if you need more information. But I always want to be up and what's coming up. We're finding out what's going on, and I just believe in having opportunities to share with others. So at Martin Business Solution, one of the things I do is for entrepreneurs or those that have careers, we find things that you can do while you're in corporate America. We find things that you can do full time as an entrepreneur or whatever the case may be. And I like to bring things that come across for tax saving. Sometimes you just need something for tax saving. Sometimes you need an extra stream of income. You need a different type of income. You need to just be aware. Hey, you just want to get ahead. You want a savings for your children. So there are opportunities to get involved in business on different levels. There's multi-level marketing. There's full-fledged brick and mortar. There's online, there's always things like Avon and Mary Kay, direct selling, paparazzi, those type things. So there's investment. There's so many different things that you can get involved in. But I always tell people, make sure you get involved in something that you can do, something that you can afford, and something that you can manage. You got to remember, You have a family for those that are married. You're married, you got kids, you got parents you're taking care of. So you don't want to ever overload your plate. And that's going to come in with planning. But at the same time, always at least be open to the exposure. You can view something. You have friends that are in different businesses. Watch their business model. See if it's something that speaks to you. Go online. There's so much out there. So I like to bring opportunities that I've thought out that I made sure were on the up and up, because there are a lot of scams out there. So I made sure that I run it through my qualifier to make sure that it is something that I can share. So on tomorrow, I will be presenting a business opportunity for anyone that would like to maybe consider starting their own business, or just having a different avenue of income to add to their already existing business. Or if you want to remain in your career and just want something else, another stream of income. You may have some kids that are going to college or something. So this would be an opportunity for you. So guys, get plugged in, and I'm going to let Miss Natasha, she's going to give us some closing, like they say in the church, some closing remarks. She's going to give us some closing remarks. No, she's going to give us her final piece of advice. This is Ask the Experts. And so we're going to ask her for her expert advice, her opinion, her feedback, just to leave us with something. And then I'm going to come back and give you guys a proper thank you. If you look on the screen, you can see our email address and our telephone number if you have any questions. And don't forget, we're always accepting donations. We're asking you kindly to contribute to the AK Legacy Foundation. It does provide certain things for our community, such as Ask the Experts webcast that comes on weekly, to connect you with experts that you may not normally have the opportunity to sit down and talk with. So at this time, Miss Natasha, give us some final encouragement. Don't do us too bad. Look, Natasha, let me tell you, Natasha is like, when you got to go to the principal, you're like, okay, I already know I done messed up. So let me just go in here. But I know when I leave this meeting, she's going to get me right. Now, she's going to get me right. Now, when I come out of here, I'm going to be a bad mama jamma. But I just got to go in and just go and sit in the hot seat. So go ahead and get us all the way together, Natasha.
The only thing that I have to say to add to our conversation today that will not take us down another lane of conversation, because if I say too much, we'll get started with some more, and we don't have the time for that, is to make sure, guys, that you are making sure that your effort matches your expectations. We all have these expectations of greatness. We have these expectations of abundance. But we want to make sure that our efforts match our expectations. So in that, if you want to increase your income, what are you doing? What are you doing as far as your effort? Is your work life in alignment with the salary that you want? Is the effort and the energy that you're putting forth in alignment with the promotion that you would like? Is your family relationship, is the effort and energy that you're putting forth there matching the expectation of what you want to see manifested? Are you spending enough time with your kids to get that return that you are expecting? So it just goes across the board. I of course specialize in and focus in it in career coaching space, making sure that our career effort matches what we want, but I want us to think about that in general, just making sure that our effort matches our expectations. That's it.
All right. The effort matches your expectation. That is a whole sermon. I think I might make that a sermon note,
Yeah, go ahead. What Sunday you preach exactly.
Look, and make sure I give you your make sure I said, Lord, let me make sure I give Natasha her proper prop, because I stole that from Natasha. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. And I want to say thank you to Natasha for taking time out of the middle part of her day, because I know she's busy.
Yeah, I'm going to be jumping back on a call in a second. I wanted to take 1 second and let everyone know, if they go to my website, I'm about to drop some other things. Right now, there are packages there, and everybody isn't prepared for a coaching package. But right now, because of the season and so many people are looking, I am offering just things like interview preparation. So if you just need a session just to do some interview prepping, you haven't looked for a job in a while, things have changed, you need to get back out there, I'm doing interview prepping. And then that wonderful planning that we were talking about. I am doing one drop session. So they're 90-minute sessions where we're doing, can't plan your whole entire career in 90 minutes, but we can create a structure, a foundation of a professional development plan for you. So we are doing running those two things right now, in addition to the regular packages that I have. So if you go to www.clacks.net, you should be able to just see the packages, and you won't see those two things because I haven't put them there. But if you just send me a request, and then I'll send you a calendar invite, and we can get one scheduled for you. Yep.
All right, I'm going to put your information back up, so make sure that everybody got that. And if you go to one platform, you can find information about the rest of the platform. So I want to make sure this is the one that I had access to, readily had access to. So get with Natasha. She just eliminated all the excuses. If you're out there and you're having to get back into the workforce since the pandemic, I think it'll be a good thing. If you're going to be re-entering in and you hadn't worked since it started, this would be a good way because things have changed. And so you want to go in with the advantage of knowing that you've had a session with Natasha as a career coach. And same thing here, Martin Business Solution. Stay tuned in. We're going to be having those tax prep classes on how to prepare your personal taxes, how to prepare your business taxes. The personal tax class is, I believe it's at no cost. So it's really no excuse. If you want to know, since the pandemic, all the tax laws, what about the credits? What about this? What about that? Take the class. Just register. Registration is required, but it is no cost. And then for the business owners, there's a package there for you guys if you want to know, hey, I started this business. Now what do I do? How do I remain in compliance with the IRS and the state? And so, and if you're on a career job, they made some changes with the withholding. Natasha's going to help you get that new promotion, that extra $10,000 you're going to be bringing in. What does that mean for you? Schedule a session with us, and we will help you on your taxes, on taking the best avenue for your advantage. There are so many tax deductions and tax laws that are in the favor of the taxpayer. But a lot of times it's just because we don't know. When we don't know, we don't know. So go ahead.
I had a question.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Do you cover the new W-4? Because honey, that thing is confusing as crap for people.
Yes, it's when it first came out, I was like, why? You're like, who comes? I feel like sometimes there's somebody who's bored and they just come up with something really fancy and they don't ask the people that's going to really fill this out. I bet the person that that edited don't even need one. But hey, yes, we do. There are some things, if you just need a form filled out, give us a call. Let's schedule a Zoom. We could put the form up on the screen for you, show you how to fill it out. Anybody that mentioned that they watched this on Ask the Expert, I will help you fill out the W-4 at no cost. Just tell me that you were on Ask the Expert. Look, that you watched the Expert. No, I'm just playing. Natasha, that goes for you too. And because you're a Women in Business member, hey, Women in Business, you guys have perks and things available to you guys. Go on the website and see what we have for you. But yes, Natasha, I would be glad to help you out with that. And because I know that if I help you, you can help some of your clients. And then so to me, I just feel like helping others is just the way to go. So yeah, sure, no problem. The new W-4, and then there are going to be some. Look, I'm waiting on the election so that I can go ahead and start getting arranged. There are going to be certain tax deductions that will change. Some will improve. Either way, whichever way it goes, doesn't matter. Every year, every time there's a major election, as a tax preparer, we do have to make adjustments to certain tax deductions and things like that. So I'm watching so that I can go ahead and get things prepared for my client. So stay tuned, stay plugged in, because there are going to be some changes. Like I said, either way, there are already some things that have already been changed, and you guys need to be aware of it to make sure that you get everything that you're entitled to and that you're paying the proper amount of taxes and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's a whole nother show. So I want to thank Natasha for tuning in. I want to thank all of our viewers. I can't thank you guys enough. I appreciate all the support and the love. And don't forget to subscribe, like, put a comment in onto our YouTube channel, AK Legacy Foundation.org. You guys be blessed. Thank you, Natasha.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I love you much.
Look, we got to come to Georgia. We're going to have to come to Georgia when it's safe to come and go anywhere.
As I say, when the world opens back up, yes.
We got to come to Georgia. We're going to bring Georgia. We're going to come to Georgia. I love it. All right. Y'all guys be blessed. Be blessed.